Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about how to create and use Django templates. So first of all, why do you need to create and use a Django or a template in Django? So templates are HTML files used by Django to create or to separate your Django's layout or your website's layout from Python code, also known as views. So the views.py file. They let you control how the page looks while still pulling in dynamic data from the backend. All right, so let's now create a template. So to create a template, first step is you need to create a folder called templates inside the app folder. So let me get this to the side. So I have the project called my site, right? And I have a app called blog. So it says we need to create a templates folder inside the app folder. Okay, so let me just activate my virtual environment. Activate, oops, it is Django underscore env. Okay, and then dir, let me cd into my site, right here. So go into blog, right, and then create. I'm actually gonna create the folder here, templates. Okay, and then create a subfolder called blog. Okay, new folder called blog, and then from here we can now create a new file, and we can call the file home.html. Okay, so yeah, same as this. So this is the structure, right? Blog, which is the app, templates in the subfolder blog, and then home.html. So if I go here, yeah, so blog, templates, blog. So that's the structure of the folders. Okay, let me go back. So now we can just copy and paste this HTML code, right? This one. So it's a very simple HTML code, right? So it's just this. So let me just copy and paste this here. And then we need to update the function view to use render function. So to do that, I need to go to blog and then views.py and modify the home function. So I need to go to blog views, yeah. And then instead of using the HTTP response, I will use the render function, which is already being imported. And then let me just actually just copy and paste this. Okay, copy and paste. So this is the function called home, and this is the parameter, which is being passed in by default by Django. And we are using the function render or returning the function render. And this is, by the way, the syntax of the function render. So request, which is this, the parameter, and then the template name, which is this, right? This is the subfolder, this one, and then the name of the template. Okay, and then we can now test this in our browser. So of course, before we test it, we need to run the server or the app. So to do that, Python manage run server. Need to run the server. Okay, and then let me click it, and then view page source, and now we see the template. So this is how you can verify that you are using the template correctly. So let me just go back to the step. So it says you see the HTML page rendered with your title and message. So you need to right click on the page and view page source. Okay, so as an optional step, we can also add dynamic data to the template. So to do that, first is you need to update your view, right? The views.py. And then we can create this. This is actually a dictionary, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and copy and paste this. So dictionary, and we are assigning it to a variable called context. And then we need to add this variable or a dictionary called context. And then we need to update the template called home.html to use the template variable. Okay, so to do that, we need to go to the home file, and then I need to update this. So this is called, so we are calling this dynamic data because if I don't need to update the HTML itself. I can just update the data in the views.py file. So let me just test this, and then I will show you how it is, why it is called dynamic. Okay, so let me just, so welcome. So the title should be title h1 tag. Yeah, we are updating the h1 tag to be my blog home. So instead of saying welcome to the blog, it will say my blog home. See if that works. Yeah, so now we see that it's now my blog home. So if I need to update this, I don't need to update the home.html file. I can just do it from here. So let's say test. So I can just do it in the view.file, in the views.py file. Okay, so actually not here, but here. So .py test. Okay, and now if I go back, it should say, yeah, my blog home test. Okay, so that's how you can create and use a template in Django. So hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.